What's up, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? We are back on Pound for Pound. I am the Nigerian Nightmare, Kamaru Usman.
Henry Cejudo, a.k.a. Triple C, mother...
A Shadow Line production.
Henry, UFC 310. Wow, we're already at 310 already. I swear last week it was just UFC 300. But we're already at 310, going down December 7th, live from T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Main event, Alexandre Pantoja taking on Kai Asakura. This is his debut fight, but hey, this ain't no debut fighter. I mean, champion from other organization. But before we break that fight down, I want to start at the bottom of the card, Henry, because, you know, it's a lot of incredible fights on this card. I know a lot of people are sleeping on it because at the top of the marquee fight, it's not necessarily a huge name, but there's a lot of great fights on this card. So, Henry, I want to go through the card from bottom to the top. But, Henry, also, I want you to kind of give me your predictions here. I want you to tell me what you think is going to happen here, who you're leaning towards. And, you know, I will happily disagree with you when I need to. But,
well, you know, let's start it up.
Let's start it up.
Kennedy, you're gonna have to fucking show me how to pronounce that damn name.
First fight, my fellow Nigerian brother, Kennedy Nzechukwu.
Niger!
Taking on, I'm guessing that's Lucas or Lukas Brzeski. I believe he's Polish. Poland. Hey, we have an influx. It's crazy how once we get some champions from a certain region, we just get an influx of those fighters from that region. You know, Poland is repping it. Poland is doing great. You saw that once we had Nigerian champions, Kennedy, Sadiq, me and Hakeem. You know, we're getting these Nigerians just kind of flow in there. You know, so
yeah.
But yeah, in this first fight, Kennedy Nzechukwu, who's coming off of a TKO victory over Chris Barnett not too long ago, and I think, yeah, over Chris Barnett, first round. Kennedy's a fighter that's still developing. He's growing rapidly, training down there in Dallas with Stephen Wright and also over at Saud. So at Fortis MMA. So, hey, I like Kennedy in this fight. First of all, I like Kennedy in almost any fights right now.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Well, dude, I gotta go for Kennedy, man. I gotta go for my Nigerian brother. I don't keep up with the heavyweight division that much. I don't think I've ever seen Brzeski actually fight, but when I did see Kennedy fight, he looked good to me. So, you know, I'm gonna bet on black.
Always.
What do you think, Kamaru?
Always bet on black.
What about this next fight, though?
The next fight, we've got
Clay Guida versus Chase Hooper.
It's a good fight because Chase Hooper is kind of one of those guys that came in, I believe 17, was in the UFC, 17 or 18, and a lot of people were saying, oh, he's too young because his development wasn't necessarily there yet. But they gave him kind of a guy, seasoned veteran, to kind of test him to see if you really belong here and you can prove that you definitely working on your technique to get there. Hey, this is the guy right here, because Clay Guida has fought who's who. Clay Guida is a Hall of Famer, a legend in the sport, has fought the who's who when it comes to UFC at that featherweight and that lightweight division. So I think this is a great fight, but I think in the deficiencies that Chase Hooper has had, I think Clay Guida is strong there. And Clay Guida's strong suit was his wrestling. So I'm going to have to go with Clay Guida on this one. I think he gets this done decision-wise. I like Chase, too.
I think he's scrambling. Yeah, I like Chase, too. But I think Clay Guida is just too scrambling. He's too unpredictable. He's a hard style. He's beating some really, really good names. And I'm actually surprised they're giving him a guy like Chase Hooper. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. If I got to put my money, I'm going with Clay Guida by decision.
Yeah, and you got to say, it's kind of, I think he's pretty much on the tail end of his career, so that fight makes sense. But moving on to the next fight, we've got Michael Chiesa taking on Max Griffin. This is a tough one to call because you could potentially say Michael Chiesa is going to dominate with the grappling and getting Max Griffin down there and dominating him on the grappling. But I would say Michael Chiesa's last fight, it seemed that he had trouble getting there, and Max Griffin has definitely grown a lot. Max Griffin has beaten a lot of guys that people were definitely not thinking he was going to beat. But Max Griffin has showed it time and time again. He comes in and he beats guys. Max Griffin has wins over Carlos Condit. Max Griffin went out there and got the win. Guys win over Tim Means, where people thought, oh, yeah, Tim Means were going to get the better of him. And he went out there and got the win. So, hey, he got wins over Mike Perry as well.
Mike Perry.
Yeah. So I would have to say that Max Griffin is not the guy that you count out. He can get in there and he can shock you. So this one is tough for me to call, Henry. It's tough for me to call.
I'll help you out, dude. I'll probably go Max Griffin just based on power, dude. I think he has a little more pop on his feet. But if it does go to the grappling, I'll probably give the edge to a guy like Chiesa. But I feel like Chiesa's having he's having fun doing this broadcasting thing. I'm just not too sure how committed, so I'm gonna have to go Max Griffin.
I gotta agree with you, Henry. I gotta agree with you. I think Max Griffin, once he's on, he knows that move my feet, and I can potentially get that victory. So I like that. I'm gonna go with that. But we move on to Cody Durden taking on Joshua Van. This is an incredible fight too. Like, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of these sleeper fights on this card that people might not be thinking of.
Yeah.
Joshua Van, a beast when he's hawking guys down. He's a beast. But I think he just suffered a knockout loss in his last fight, which was was that a knockout? No, he won. He actually won the unanimous decision.
He's kind of. I don't know if him getting fights, Kamaru, is really going to benefit him, dude. And this fucking dude, he's got power. He was undefeated prior to. No, I mean he has serious power at flyweight, bro. I saw him do my boy, my boy from Brazil, Felipe Bunes. He fucking did him dirty, bro. Like, knocked him out. Like, ooh, it was horrible. But then he ended up getting knocked out. And then he came back to his next fight. And like, I wonder if he's a little touchy in the chin. And to fight a guy like Cody Durden, a freaking goer, someone that's level changing, doesn't have that crazy power, but that could fatigue you, it could be that. It could be problematic for him. But I do believe if Joshua is 100%, I feel like Joshua could really hurt him on his feet, man. I
know it is, right. It's such a good fight, because on if you just eye test, you would say Joshua Van's going to walk him down like he walked everybody down, unleash big power, and potentially get Cody out of there. But Cody has shown that, hey, don't count me out, because I believe in his last fight, I believe he took the fight on short notice, maybe a week or so, drove down to Vegas and went out there and stopped Matt Schnell. So if that doesn't say anything to you, that I don't know what does. So I'm going to have to go with Cody Durden. Cody's a gamer. Yeah, the power might not be there from a single shot, but this guy can mix it up. He can level change. And if he does eventually get a hold of you, it might be like all she wrote.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with Josh Van. I think Josh Van can keep it on his feet.
You switching up on me, huh?
Cody,
yeah.
Me and Cody has some beef.
Oh, so it's personal.
On Twitter.
So it's personal.
So Cody, you could bend the knee, and you can bend it to King Triple C and Joshua Van. I hope you knock his ass out.
Wow.
Next fight, just like that. Take that, you Southern sweetheart.
All right, so moving on to the next fight. This is I guess this was postponed. This fight was actually supposed to happen at 309 in New York. Eric Anders taking on Chris Weidman. I don't exactly know the details of what happened or why this fight had to be pushed, but it was pushed, and now at 310 in Vegas, we get the pleasure of watching this fight. Chris Weidman returning back in there, fighting Eric Anders, a seasoned veteran. I like this fight, but I would have to say I'm going to go with Chris Weidman. If he's able to change levels and get Eric Anders down, I think he's able to get this one done. What do you think, Henry?
Yeah, it's been a while, dude. But I've known Eric Anders personally. I do believe I know that he's working on his wrestling, and if he's able to stop Chris Weidman's takedowns, if it just solo just comes to the feet, I'm gonna have to go Eric Anders all the way, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the devil's advocate here. I believe in Eric Anders, and united we stand, divided we fall. But here we go.
Dream, believe, achieve.
Now will I put money, Kush? Now will I put money? No, that's the big question.
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right.
But I'm going for Eric Anderson.
All right. Now we move on to the next fight. I mean, this has the potential to be the fight of the night right here. If both guys come out there, both men, and they put it on the line to fight to their capability, I do believe that this is the fight of the night. This is the most closely contested fight on the card because
6'3",
both 163, 161, but he uses that 6'1" very well. He fights very tall, so he could feel like 6'3". Brian Battles is no slouch. I mean, this guy comes to fight. He's grown in every aspect. You put him on his back, he can submit you. You stand with him, he can get you out of there. He's got kicks, he's got punches. I love it. But he's taking on Randy Rude. Boy, Brown and Randy, that's one thing that he does well. Randy's probably one of the slickest right now in the division at using that his long range and putting the boxing together. So this is a very, very tough one for me to call. If I had to pick, I'm going to go with Randy Brown. I think Randy is just sharp and fast enough to be able to find that target. So I'm going to go with Randy Brown, but this is a damn good fight.
I'm gonna have to agree with you here, Kamaru. I think, but I still feel like when Randy Brown really discovers the fucking talent that he has and the limbs that he has, and he really starts to understand his range, he is going to be so dangerous. Like, man, I want to send him a message. He's probably gonna watch this, but he's very tall, man, for welterweight, and man, he's there, dude. He should be studying a guy like John Jones, someone that can just reach his range and his reach very well. But if Randy Brown, I just feel like his train's just going, his momentum's going. So I'm gonna agree with you there. I'm going straight up, not Bobby Brown, Randy Brown.
Right, you fixed it. Oh man, moving on to the next fight, we've got Musfar Evloev taking on Aljamain Sterling. This was a fight that was originally supposed to take place in Salt Lake City, Utah, and Aljamain had to pull out because he was injured, and so the fight has been rescheduled here, and we finally get a treat. We finally get a chance to see this fight. I would say it's a grappling delight, but when you have two grapplers of this caliber, it typically turns into a stand-up war, and we get to see who has the better stand-up.
Yeah, son of a bitch. I hate. Anyways, my name's on Aljamain's list. It's nice though. There's a light little belt, but I like Aljamain. I really do, man. You know, me. You know, it's always been kind of some fun love, a little hate, but a lot of love. But he's also going up against, in my eyes, the most problematic guy at 145 pounds. His style, you could call it boring, call it whatever the hell you want to call it. Movsar is fucking dangerous, man. Like, and not just that, but he has heart, dude. Diego Lopez had this dude in that knee bar. That dude did not tap. Bah! He said he heard popping X, Y, and Z. I just don't know if Aljamain is going to be able to really kind of, because he is the bigger guy, if he's really grappled with somebody at that level as Movsar. I mean, his striking's not the best. You probably want to give it a C minus, but his top control and his transitions up top, the dude's really good. So if I'm leaning somewhere, and I hope for the best for a guy like Aljamain Sterling, but this guy to me is the most problematic, just stylistically, with anybody. So for that reason, I'm going Evloev.
So Henry, I got to combat you. Is that
crazy? Is that crazy? Is that crazy?
It's not crazy.
Is that crazy that I just invited?
It's
is
not
that crazy?
crazy.
No. But check this out. Hear me out, Kamaru. I just invited Aljamain Sterling to the gym too, and I'm over here betting against.
That's wild work, Henry.
Hey, but he has a K.
That's crazy work, bro.
But he has a K. But I also told him to his face. I said, Aljamain, you're going up against a guy that's really fucking strong. That stylistically, even for you, where you reign, where back control and things like that. Like this dude is. That's all he knows. At least Aljamain has striking.
That's crazy work, Henry. Jesus. Well, let me combat that. First and foremost, yes, we say that Evloev's striking is not necessarily there, but he understands that, yes, I've been decisioning these guys, but I'm going to go out and try to get those finishes. I know he's been working with Cosmo Alexandre, who is also my Muay Thai coach. So he's definitely getting that work in. So he's going to be prepared for this. And then you say that he's the most problematic grappler in there. When you're talking about Aljamain Sterling, it doesn't get any higher than going in there against an Olympic champion, not just a Greco-Olympic champion, a freestyle Olympic champion, and he's able to get takedowns. Not just takedowns, he's able to get the dark horses, I think, of that division. Corey Sandman Sandhagen is able to go get him down on his back and put that fight away. So to say hasn't gone with guys like that. He's training with Patchy Mix, and these are guys that I'm sure he's rolling with out there in Vegas. So this is a very, very intriguing fight. But I think both guys are just going to say, you know what, we're both good there. Maybe one guy attempts one time and then just decides, you know what, nope, let's just stay here and let's figure it out. One guy's working on his Muay Thai and they know it's improving vastly.
Not really.
And then the other guy, like you said, and the other guy has striking, like you said. So it's a phenomenal fight. If I had to pick, man, it's hard to pick against Aljamain because he's shocked us continuously. But I got to go with most.
Let's put an egg on it. Put an egg on it. Come on,
both
go Aljamain. You ain't black.
Hey,
you ain't putting your money on Black Kush.
You know what? I'm going Aljo. Because
cool.
there's got to be something said about him still agreeing to. And this is a 3-rounder now, I believe, and not a 5-rounder. So if it's a 3-rounder, I do think Aljamain can potentially go out there and wrestle and grapple for 3 rounds and potentially pull out a decision.
And if he does, Kamaru, you almost got to say he's one fight away, or maybe even say, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
For what he's done at the bantamweight division, maybe we skip him to the title shot. He's fighting a guy that a lot of people ignore, bro, and I can see why. It's a style that's fucking, anyways, it's annoying. But
right.
We got to talk about your boy Vicente Luque, man. Just see that Diaz pulled out, bro. Diaz was making freaking little fires, bro, outside. I don't know what happened, but whatever that was, man, he was on some good kush, to say the least.
Yeah.
Tell me where to get some.
Yeah, it's tough because Vicente, I feel like, has waited for some time now.
You didn't think that was funny, Kamaru?
Hey, I'm not laughing with you. But what I would say is it's unfortunate because Vicente, I feel like, has been waiting for this fight for about almost some time now. He's been waiting for this fight to take place, and it's been rescheduled, it's been pushed, but now it's officially ruled out that Nick is not going to fight this fight, which is kind of sad because I wanted to see that fight, and Vicente definitely has prepared for that fight. But he's getting, first of all, whatever is going on with Nick, I wish him well. I hope he's able to get that help and he's able to get back on track, because we love Nick Diaz and everything that Nick Diaz has done for the sport of MMA. I'm a fan of Nick Diaz. So yeah, we hope that he's okay, and we hope that he's able to get back in there and compete. Or if not, we just hope that he's okay. When someone falls out, someone slides in, and in slides Themba Gorimbo. Themba, fighting from Zimbabwe, spent some time in South Africa. Themba's kind of been on a roll here. He's been able to get in there and scrape out the decision. He's in tough fights. He's winning some of these fights, maybe 30-27. And they might have not have been the most exciting, but he's doing the best that he can. He's going in there. He's actually winning these fights. So you can't deny him that. So I think this is a tough fight. It's a very problematic fight. This one is a tough one for me. This one's a tough one for me because I do think standing wise and striking, I do think Vicente strikes with anybody. But if you look at Vicente and problems or areas that maybe he's had a little bit of issue in the past, it's been with the grappling aspect of not just grappling, but the wrestling aspect of MMA. And Themba is definitely going to go there. He's definitely going to go there. So this is a very, very tricky fight. But I like the time off for Vicente. He's definitely put some time off in time in the gym. I've spent some time in with him to where I know he's definitely put some time in. So I'm anxious to see how that plays out in a fight here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's too much of a vet in Vicente Luque. I think him being around like a lot of these guys, like yourself, Gilbert Burns. I mean, he fucking that welterweight division at Kill Cliff is absolutely ridiculous, bro. So just
crazy.
based on ironing, sharpening iron, I'm gonna have to go an easy decision victory for Vicente Luque.
All right. Now we move on, and we've got Anthony Schmidt.
So this is the main card. This is the main card, bro.
Now we slide. No, this is the feature prelim right here. It's Anthony Smith taking on Dominic Reyes. Both 6'4", both light heavyweights, both around the same age, both around the same reach. As Mike Goldberg would say, everything is virtually identical here.
Here we go.
I like this fight, Henry. I like this fight, and I'm just going to have to go with Dominic Reyes is coming off of a big win in his last fight, and I think it was one that definitely energized him because he needed it. If we look at that last performance that he had.
God, 38-20, Anthony Smith?
Yeah, Anthony Smith has been fighting before. While I was in college wrestling, Anthony Smith was already fighting. And so coming off that big win in his last fight, I think that energized Dominic Reyes to where we might see the Dominic Reyes of old. But in this fight, I'm going to have to go with the veteran savviness of Anthony Smith.
Yeah, I'm probably I'm probably going to agree with you. I think he has a lot of tools, man, in his bag. And I think Anthony's just a grinder, dude. Dominic's so accustomed to being on his feet that you just don't know. But either way, bro, I really don't care on that one. But I'll go Anthony Smith.
Jesus. Now we move on to the main card.
Before we get into breaking down this next fight, we want to thank our sponsor as Roll Sparks. At Pound for Pound, we're all about performance, whether it's in the octagon, on the mic, or between the sheets. That's where our sponsors at Roll Sparks come in. Roll Sparks is a dual action treatment that begins working on an average of 50 minutes once dissolved. That means more confidence, more satisfaction in the bedroom.
Roll Sparks stays active in the system for up to 36 hours, so you're ready when the mood hits. Roll connects guys with a Roll affiliated medical provider 100% online and ships directly to your door if prescribed. No wasted time in the waiting rooms or long commutes to the doctor's office.
So head to roll.co/P4P to connect with the provider. If prescribed, you'll get $15 off your first order of medication to get hard when you sign up for a recurring plan.
That's ro.co/P, the number 4P. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law but are not FDA approved. For full safety information, go to ro.co/safety-info. Now, Henry, let's get back to the breakdown, my man. Where we've got Nate the Train is back. And he's taking on the Korean Superboy, I believe is his nickname, Doo-ho Choi. Ooh, now that's a banging fight. That's a banging fight right there. Another potential to be fight of the night. Because as we know, Nate the Train is always going to bring the energy when it comes to fights. Woo!
Damn, they're doing that shit on purpose too. These dudes are gonna bang. I don't know who's gonna win, but I can tell you right now, Kamaru, that this is gonna be fight of the night, bro. Believe that.
it's definitely gonna be a candidate.
I mean, how do you know what I'm saying? How do you break that?
I can't even freaking pick. They're both gonna hit each other. I think Nate the Train. I think his threshold to be able to go up and down in fights, get knocked down, still find a way to stay in the fight, battle back. I think it's just he doesn't have as much miles as Doo-ho Choi. I mean, I'm talking Doo-ho Choi's been fighting wars. So I'm going to go with Nate the Train on this one. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Korean Superboy is able to put together, some sharp strike. Look at Nate the Train. Look at that, man. I love it. I love it. Who do you go with? I'm going to go with Nate the Train on that one.
You know what? I'll go for Choi, dude. I think the Korean Superboy. I think he's like I said, dude. I think it's gonna be fight of the night, man. So we'll leave it at that. Let's go.
All
Let's
right.
move on.
We move on to the next fight. We got Bryce Mitchell taking on Gracie. Gracie, I feel like I haven't seen him fight in a while. I feel like I haven't seen him fight in a while.
He's 5-2, 2 L's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I gotta go with Swanson. What is it? I gotta go with Bryce Mitchell, dude. I just feel like Kron Gracie. He rarely fights. And I don't know if his injury just doesn't want to fight. Dana White said it too. It's almost like Kron, like you take it back to like a freaking 90s capsule, like a 90s fighter, like early 90s. That's kind of what Kron fights like. Like he never really adjusted to the sport of mixed martial arts, and he's going against a guy like Bryce Mitchell who knows the game, who has been good people, man. I think I think for Bryce Mitchell, dude, I think he's I'm just curious to see him bring the Bible and make it happen. But I got Bryce Mitchell on this one.
Listen, this is a tough, and obviously the matchmakers knew exactly what they were doing here because this is definitely a grappling affair. You've got Kron Gracie taking on Bryce Mitchell, which Bryce Mitchell also is one of the 3 fighters that owns a twister submission in the UFC. So it's a tough one because he likes to be down there in the ground, but Kron, that's where he is a Kron Gracie, and that's where he likes to fight. And Henry, I know you said he hasn't really adjusted to MMA, but listen, Kron is 5-2. He's only 7 mixed martial arts fight in his career. So I get it. I'm going to say Bryce Mitchell has the tools to stay on his feet, and Bryce Mitchell, I think, stand-up-wise, has the better stand-up. So I'm going to go with Bryce Mitchell here. But when it goes down to the ground, it's a wild card because they're both dangerous down there. But moving on to the next fight, we got the big boys. You got Cyril Gane taking on Alexander Volkov. I think, obviously, we know Cyril Gane, what his ability and what he's capable of. Is it
Gane or Gane, bro? I get so confused.
Cyril Gane.
Is it Gane or Gane?
Cyril Gane.
Are you sure?
Hey, that's how John Anik says it, so that's how I'm gonna say it. It's Cyril Gane. That's what I like to say. Because you gotta put the little French accent on that. You gotta put the little French twang on that. Yeah. Bogamin, which is the game one, something like that. I feel like it's something that you say back in the movies, when you slap somebody with the glove, like, bah, I challenge you to a duel. You say, Bogamin, something like that. I feel like that's what you would say in the movies. That's the fight everyone's been calling for. That's the fight that should have happened a few times, but I believe Cyril Gane had something to do. He was in the process of shooting a movie or shooting a campaign or something to where that fight didn't take place, because that's the fight that the UFC originally wanted for the interim heavyweight championship that took place in New York 2 years ago, where Tom Aspinall came in and fought Sergey Pavlovich, but Cyril Gane definitely still a force to be reckoned with. I love this fight, so I'm going to have to go with Cyril Gane with that.
Yeah, I think his lateral movements are too much. He's fought on taller fighters. I think Gane is on. I think just his movement's going to be very problematic. No, maybe not. But he's fought. Obviously, he's fought. God, he's 6'7", 3 inches taller than him. But it's all good, man. But I just feel like his movement's going to be very, very problematic. So I'm going to have to go with Gane too.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the next fight. We've got the co-main event of the evening. We've got Shavkat Rakhmonov taking on Ian Garry. You've got 18-0 versus 15-0. This is an intriguing fight. This was a fight that I was potentially going to slide into, but I've touched on this a million times, which is crazy to me, Henry, because I'm seeing online people go, "Oh, you scared? You duck him? You ducked him? You scared? You scared?" I'm like, what? What? Exactly. I'm like, wait, what? What? This is the same sentiment that I feel like people are doing to John Jones. It's just like when people were your fans or fans of a fighter don't get their desired wish that they want. That's the fight I want. Then it's like, oh no, that guy must be scared because he didn't take the fight. Like, guys, shut up. Shut up.
Yeah.
We step in there each and every time. I have 25 or 20, 22 or 25 fights. I don't know. I don't know how many fights. But you think everyone, oh, you scared. Yeah, okay. World champion and defending belts time and time again. Oh, he's scared. Yeah. Shut up. Just because you didn't get what you wanted. Yeah. Guess what? It's like your mom telling you, no, you can't have that toy today. You know, you can't have that toy. So shut your mouth. Instead, we got a banging fight. We've got Shavkat Rakhmonov taking on Ian Garry. Henry, now this fight, I'm saying, and I'm not hating in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I love the fight on paper, but I don't think it's going to be as exciting as people think. People are expecting blood, this and that, and I don't think it's going to be that because Ian Garry is a smart fighter that's willing to just, if he has to dance around for 30 minutes, he's going to dance around. He's willing to do that in order to create the space that he wants in order to try to land his strikes. Shavkat, not necessarily. Shavkat's going to play the game with you for a little bit, but Shavkat at some point is going to want to get going. So if Ian doesn't want to get going, like we know, Henry, it takes two to tango. So if Ian doesn't want to get going, that fight might not be the bloodbath that everybody's expecting, everybody's craving and going, oh, yeah, ooh, ah. But, I mean, on paper, I think it's a fantastic fight, and somebody's got to go. Okay, but
who you got? Cut to the chase. Somebody's hoes got to go. So whose hoes going?
Who's what?
Ain't that right?
Who's what?
Who's always going?
Man, I like it. I like it. I'm gonna have to. I might honestly. Putting on my professional hat, I can see a world where Ian Garry gets this one done, but I don't really care much for both guys, so I don't really care. I'm not picking whoever it is. At some point, I'm gonna have to see, and I'm gonna have to do what I do, but. I don't really care, but I can't see a world where Ian gets it done. Shavkat is very good and very dangerous, but I can see a world where Ian gets it done.
Yeah, I could see that. If Ian wins this fight, he's gonna have to say exactly what you said. You know, pretty much touch spar, like cruising, angles, movement. Will Shavkat allow that? Man, it's hard. Ian's. Man, there's too much dog in Rakhmonov, dude. Even though I feel like with a great game plan, Ian could really chop him down and beat him. But man, Rakhmonov's one of those dudes that as you hit him, he becomes stronger. Like he gets greater. Like he's a real zombie, bro. So I gotta go. I like Ian. I wouldn't mind. I would actually like to see Ian win. But if I have to put my money, I'm gonna have to go with Rakhmonov just based on grit. Just based on him fucking 18 finishes, 18 fights, 18 finishes. And they're about the same age. I love this fight because everything's pretty square on, dude. Like everything's pretty even when it comes to age, maybe size. And obviously there's a 2-inch reach advantage for Ian, but these guys have trained together, so they know what's up. But just like you, I would not be surprised with a good game plan. Ian Garry also gets it done.
Henry, I agree with you. And the one thing I would say about that is, I would completely be on board. And it's
5 rounds.
5 rounds. I would completely be on board with that. If it's just, Ian has been to, I don't even know, so many gyms in the last couple of years to where I feel like it's very, some people can get it done. Some people can seek knowledge and take some here, and here from different gyms. But I feel like it's extremely difficult for you to build a baseline, which is when all else fails, I have my baseline work that I've worked with these coaches that I know that if all else fails, these coaches are going to pour into me. Hey, let's get back to the fundamentals that we've spent hours and hours and hours in the gym building. So I worry about that with Ian Garry, having bounced around to this gym and that gym and this gym and that gym. I worry about that in a 5-round fight when you have to fight a dog, because I don't feel like he's fought a dog yet.
But
So
Kamaru, can I tell you something too?
yeah,
That may not be a bad thing, man.
it may not. No,
be
like
a
I
bad
said,
thing.
I'm not. I'm
like cause there's knowledge. Knowledge is everywhere, but against Rakhmonov's going to bring that grappling, that wrestling, where Ian is pretty striking heavy. You know,
they're both
could
striking
he keep
heavy.
it on his feet?
They're both striking heavy. I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna tell you that.
No, I know, but
Rakhmonov
Rakhmonov has more of that.
Yes, he's an opportunist grappler,
I mean,
but
more of his fights.
I feel like I'm making a case for either guy. They're both decent grapplers for sure. I can't take anything away. They're both decent grapplers. Ian's not bad on his back. They're both decent grappler. I think Shavkat is the more opportunistic grappler, that he can't get you, even if it's a big brother bulldog choke. He'll finish you there. Even if it's taking your back, he'll finish you there. So I would say Shavkat is the more opportunistic finisher. But Ian Garry, they're both good. This is such a closely contested fight. They both prefer to stand on their feet and strike. But I think if it comes down to it, Shavkat might have a little edge. So I you know what? I'm gonna lean towards Shavkat. I think Henry Hoof has
just more brute. There's more brute to him, Kamaru, than a guy like Ian Garry.
Yeah, but I would also say
there's a brute of threshold, man.
True. You're right. And I would say Henry Hoof is probably going to do a good job of breaking down this fight for him, because Henry has coached Ian for a lot of his fights. I believe over 3 or 4 fights that Ian Garry has fought. So this one is it's a good one on paper. Very, very good one on paper. I can't wait to see it. You know, I can't wait to see it, whether my prediction is correct or not correct. Because like I said, when Ian Garry fought MVP, I said it. I didn't think that was going to be the most exciting fight, and it turned out to not be the most exciting fight. But we'll see how this one go. Yeah, like I said,
but that's not a bad thing. But anyhow, let's move on to the main event.
So the main event, we've got Alexander Pantoja taking on Kai Asakura. Hey, Henry, let's talk a little bit about this, because I know this is his debut fight, but he's not a debut fighter. I mean, I would like to just say Mr. Knee. Let's just say that. I'm going to say Mr. Knee, because he touched you with that knee.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, crazy. TKO. I mean, he's gone through the unanimous decisions, but TKO. I mean, this dude is known as staying on his feet and really hurting people up top. I mean, there's a reason why. Oh yeah, his last one was against a guy with former Bellator world champ and Juan Archuleta. So that lets you know how good this dude is. But he is also going down to 125 pounds, a weight class that he has never made. And my biggest question is will he recover? If he has the ability to recover for Pantoja, because Pantoja becoming straightforward, he could probably hurt him and actually knock him out. But I think Pantoja's going to be too smart. And Pantoja also really does a really good job of when there's a storm, like he knows when to switch it up and actually go for takedowns and then take the back. I just feel like he's just a little too well-rounded. Oh, there he fought Kate. There he fought your boy.
Manel Cop. Ooh, what an incredible fight over at Rising.
Yeah, but the rules do change, Kamaru. The rules do change. Like there's no knee on his, there's no knee on the, on the head or anything like that.
These boys soccer kicking each other's head.
Takedowns. I like that, bro. Honestly, bro, I wish the UFC was more like that.
Stop.
Stomping.
Stop.
American History X type shit.
Whoa,
Die.
whoa. Pause, Henry. Whoa.
You see that movie? Ooh, no way. Does he have a win over Haraguchi?
On the play. I think he did lose that fight to Haraguchi. I think he got I think he lost the fight, but I think he won the fight again. Yeah, I think he has a loss to Haraguchi, but I think he got the fight back. Let's go back to his record. I think they fought how many times?
I tell you what, bro.
He has a loss to Haraguchi, but I think he got it back. Or he beat Manel Cop, Why does that
No,
say?
but- no,
Yeah.
Ki-
So he
no,
beat.
but now
So that was he
Guida-
beat Haraguchi, and then Haraguchi came back and beat him for the title. So they're 1-1. Mm-hmm.
or Juan and Juan.
Juan and Juan, yes. But hey, I like it. I agree with you, Henry. I think it's gonna be. We're gonna have to see how he's going to be able to adapt to getting down to that weight. And Alexander Pantoja is a guy that knows how he has that threshold. He can go hard for 5 rounds. So I liked it. I can't wait to see it. I think it's gonna be a fantastic fight. I think he's gonna be sharper. I think he's a little bit more dynamic because if he touch you with those hands or if he touch you with that knee, I think he could put you out. And I think this is where Alexander Pantoja is going to have to be more careful here because you can't just put your head down and just run forward with numerous combinations and just try to overwhelm the guy with a guy that can just put a knee there and get you out of there. You know what I'm talking about, Henry? Am I right or wrong?
No, you're right, bro. You're right. The dude has power, man. And Pantoja, you're right. He does have a bad habit of fucking swinging for the fences, dude. But he's a world champion. That's a brawler. You start to ask yourself, like, there's technique and whatnot involved, but he's just a goer, man. That fight with Steve Ursig fucking hurt him, bro, with those elbows on top of his head. I mean, Steve did a really good job. And it's just Pantoja was just a veteran in him, and the drive, the fact that he was fighting bros, he was able to get away with that. But now that he's going to Viva Las Vegas, no more crowd. You're not in your territory. Will he be able to pull it out against a guy who is more dangerous with firepower than himself? That's the question. But either way, bro, I just feel like Pantoja has found the UFC. He's made the weight. He's fought 5 rounds with some of the best flyweights in the world, and I have to give it up to him, dude. I can see Pantoja, winning those later rounds, and particularly because the Japanese is probably cutting too much weight.
I agree with you, Henry. I'm going to go with Alexander Pantoja. I think he has shown that he can push hard for 5 rounds and still get the job done. So I'm going to go with Pantoja, even though, hey, what a debut would be to be your first fight in the UFC and you become the UFC champion. So what a debut would be. I'm anxious to see this guy. I've seen his fights from afar, and I know that he's an excellent striker, very, very dynamic striker. Mr. Knee, as I like to call him. So I can't wait to see it. That's going to be taking place live.
Kai
Asakura. That's going to be taking place live at the T-Mobile Arena December 7th. UFC 310. 310.
I like that.
Yeah.
I see how you slid
you
it
see
in.
how I slid that in there?
You like
Yeah. You see that, huh? Yeah. And also, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and, of course, subscribe. Hey, we have a great interview with Frank Grillo on Thursday for you guys. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Guys, as always, I am the Nigerian Nightmare, Kamaru Usman.
Henry Cejudo, a.k.a. Triple C.
And we are out. What is this on my arm?